Thanks, Chrissy, and thanks for RIU for finding us a slot and sort of late in the piece. And welcome to everyone today for coming along. So TG Metals, I mean, we started our life out as the tethered goat, unlisted, many years ago, and we listed in May of 2022, where we raised $6 million. And our initial focus was on nickel. However, today I'm here to talk about our new lithium discovery. And in terms of resurgence, the theme of this conference, if TG Metals hasn't had a resurgence, then I don't know what has. Okay, so this is what got us excited to start with. So our initial drilling on our lithium anomaly turned up with spodumene pegmatite straight away, and we passed the UV light over it, and it lit up like a Christmas tree. So we were very pleased with that, but not being satisfied with that, we wanted to make sure that we did have spodumene in our pegmatite. So we ran a Raman scan over it, and it came up with very pure looking spodumene. And then it was a nervous waiting for the assays to come in, and we even got a better surprise when we got basically high grades throughout the whole of the pegmatites, 8 to 9 metres in width, and the odd 2% are in there as well, which is always good. Usual disclaimer, encourage you to read it. This is on the ASX, posted today. Okay, so where are we? Well, we're in Lake Johnson project, down in Lake Johnson Greenstone Belt. It sits between the Forestania Southern Cross Greenstone Belt and the Norseman Wiluna Belt, both of which of those have been more known for pegmatite discoveries, lithium, over the past years. So we're onto a new one, and we have over 50 kilometres of greenstone and covered by our tenements. A reasonably large area of tenements, 356 square kilometres, and growing because we've got some tenement applications as well, which we picked up earlier on prior to this lithium discovery. And it's a rather unexplored region previously for LCT pegmatites. Charger has the Medcalf discovery out to the east of us, and there's some pegmatites to the north of us at Mount Day as well, but nothing really with the grade and the potential size of what we've got. So just looking at our corporate overview, you can see the share price performance graph there over the past month. So I mean, we really have had a resurgence, and the high volume there on the first day of discovery release on the 30th of October. We're sitting at around about 50 million market cap. As I said before, we raised $6 million on the IPO. We've been 18 months now. We've been using our funds prudently, and we still had half of that, more than half of that still in the bank as at the 30th of September. We're currently doing drilling programs now, so the spend is increasing, but we still have enough funds going forward to complete our planned drilling programs. And everyone who has options at the moment is pretty happy because they're all on the money. And also in our major shareholders, of which Stewie and Jackson figure prominently down here in the front, they still hold, top 50 still holds 62% of our shareholding, so they've stuck with us, and we hope they'll stick with us for a lot longer. So on the board and management, we've got Richard Bevan there as the non-exec chairman. Previously, he was managing director of Cassini, and he's also non-exec of Kili and Naria, and has recently joined the board of Elmore as well. There's Brett Smith, who is the geology brains trust behind putting the tenements together for the Lake Johnson project, initially with Stewie, and there's Gloria as well, representing some of Stewie's stake as well on the board, and as well as bringing a lot of international business experience to the board, and myself, who I've got background in all sorts of commodities, a lot in nickel, but also a fair bit in lithium as well, and some iron ore and some gold experience as well. So, Lake Johnson, where are we? So there we are, down in the southern end of the Lake Johnson Greenstone Belt. Our Burmeister Lithium Discovery sits out there on the western side of the Greenstone Belt, right up against the Westin granite. When I say right up against, we've still got 2.5 kilometres of basalt before we get to the granites. And our closest analogy to where we would sit is the Earl Grey deposit there over in the Southern Cross Greenstone Belt. It's a similar geometry, flat lying, around about 15 degrees, and is up against the granite and in a large basalt flow as well, which is what we've got. You can also see out to the east there the Selfe lithium deposit, and Mount Day pegmatite swarm to the north. Is in close proximity to us as well is Poseidon's Emily Ann and Maggie Hayes nickel, past producing nickel mines. There's a camp there, and they've kindly let us use that for some of our housing and some of our exploration staff. We have a large area to the south of us which is pretty much unexplored for lithium. These tenements in 2019 were actually vacant, and when they were picked up by the tethered goat, and there wasn't a lot of lithium exploration that was done previously. So when we took these on, and after listing, we had to start from scratch. So how do we hone in on our lithium discovery? So basically the whole western side of the Greenstone Belt in the southern area there, where it does fatten up, was identified early on as a potential Goldilocks zone. Probably heard that term bandied around a lot before, but it was a large area. We had to narrow that down so that we could find a reasonable area to go and drill. So we did a large soil sampling program early on after listing, and we defined a 100 ppm soil anomaly, and that anomaly was then was basically picked out due to some subtle structural features which were coming in off the granite off there to the west, and the most prospective host rock for pegmatite is within the basalt. So we've got a large basalt area there in green off there to the west, and what we then did was initial 6-hole drill program, which was conducted earlier on this year, and we hit the pegmatite straight away. The targeting for that was basically on the strongest tenor of soil anomaly that we had, spaced 200 metres apart along strike and 100 metres down dip, and we came up with the high grade numbers basically throughout the whole of the pegmatite. The soil anomaly itself is very large. It's 4.5 kilometres by 1.7 kilometres. Where we're seeing the highest grades in that soil anomaly is where we're also projecting the daylighting out of the pegmatites. So this is turning out to be a great pointer for our exploration. There are no outcropping pegmatites in the area, so this was totally blind. As far as we know, it's the only totally blind lithium pegmatite deposit to have been discovered in Australia, at least. I'm not sure about the rest of the world. So just zooming in again and giving a better overview of our lithium results that we got out of our first drilling program. So 5 of the 6 drill holes hit pegmatite, and 4 of those hit high-grade pegmatite. The other hole that was drilled was basically in oxidised, is too high up, so it was oxidised and the lithium had been leached out. But the weathering profile here is not that deep anyway. It's about 25 metres, so compared to some other places where it can get up to 80 metres thick, we're in a pretty fortunate position on this western side. The blue lines there is what we have approved for drilling in our POW, and so we have a lot of space there to go and drill. So we're currently drilling our phase 2 program, which is going to be testing up dip, down dip and along strike from our initial hits, and also testing further to the north where we've got some high plus 100 ppm soil results, and also on the western side, which is a long anomaly and fairly consistent all the way through, and we're hoping that at this stage is another pegmatite which is stratigraphically higher up in the than the two that we've currently drilled. So moving on to the cross sections, you can see there where we've intercepted the pegmatite. Hole 9, which is in the cross section to the top there on the left hand side, that's had a diamond drill extension put on it. That was to give us some orientation of the pegmatite as well as information, as well as some information on the crystal size of the spodumene. So that was successfully conducted, and that's in getting cut and sampled as we speak. And on the southern, the lower section there, that hit the upper pegmatite. We didn't drill far enough to get to the lower pegmatite, so we're going to extend those with RC, basically re-entering the holes on those. But the pegmatites are strong. They're quite consistent in width, and the spodumene is very consistent within the pegmatites. Our second round of drilling, which we're currently doing, is going to probe a lot deeper than this 120 to 132 metres that we've currently drilled. We're going down to around 300 metres. If it holds true to what we're seeing so far, we should be getting pegmatites about 100 metres vertical, 90 to 100 metres vertically, space between, and they should continue as we get further towards the centre of the stress field at deeper depths. This is all stuff that we've got to work out with our phase 2 drilling program. Where's the centre of the stress field? Where's the best place to target bigger pegmatites at depth? And also, what's the upside as well in extensions? So we're pretty much open to the north and to the south. There's a lot of soil sampling further to be done. Now that we know where to look, we can target those areas a lot better. So we're now targeting where we've got bulges out in the greenstone belt to the south, with further extensive areas of basalt. We've also got new soil sampling out to the east. So this originally came about because we extended some lines out to the tenement boundary out to the east, and we came up with some more 100 ppm anomalies. They're a lot larger than the ones that we had at Burmeister. We believe that's to do with some structural and weathering effects as well, but they also line up quite nicely with the known structures that we have in the area as well. So our hope at this stage is that we're also seeing these as being daylight zones on surface for pegmatites lying below. Our phase 2 program, 4,000 metres of RC, about 13 holes, will flow into phase 3 of that. So phase 2 is not where we're stopping. That'll take us through to about the end of February into March next year, and then we'll have the phase 3 underway. Phase 3 will basically carry on from the phase 2 drilling there, which is in the grey stars, and testing pegmatites up dip, down dip, and the long strike. We're also putting in our starting our approvals process for drilling on the Burmeister Lithium prospect out to the east, and we're getting some expert advice on on better targeting through our soil anomalies as well. So that's just a picture there of our drill rigs in action. So there's a diamond drill rig and our RC rig going out to site before they started drilling. We have ongoing drilling programs. Raglan Drilling are doing our drilling out there for us. They're a fantastic mob, been very kind to us in keeping their rigs out on site. Even the diamond drill rigs parked up while we're waiting to see what we want to extend. So at TG Metals, we believe our exploration results will drive a shareholder value. This is a resurgence for Lake Johnson. I mean, we've got now, as early as yesterday, Rio Tinto coming into the area now, doing a joint venture with Charger on their tenements. They've obviously see the potential in the area, and so do we. How we got here to this stage was through systematic analysis of the data. We're not going out and willy-nilly putting in drill holes everywhere and just hoping for the best. We're using science to get where we are, and we continue to do that. So that's our philosophy going forward. We're now concentrating on our lithium. We do have nickel targets as well, but they're taking a bit of a back seat because the lithium is looking like a far more exciting play at this stage. We're moving ahead with our flora and fauna surveys and heritage surveys that we need to complete to expand our exploration efforts, and we are in the fortunate position of having multiple commodities in the one location. So if you haven't before, I urge you to have a look at TG Metals for something. We've got a lot of news flow coming up with drilling programs and a lot of exciting targets to test yet.